Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 21, Zephyr Acupuncture. Even though she had no problem walking normally with her leg injury, she faced great difficulty in her training. It felt as though poison had soaked into her bones. In the past half year, there didn't seem to be a single day she spent in happiness. Precisely so, she became the current her who was a little fearful towards strangers, as well as reticent. Initially, she thought that her injury would stay with her for her entire life. Yet, she didn't expect that the Zhang Xuan, whom everyone thought was trash, would say it is a small matter. She found it hard to believe what her ears were hearing. If it was a moment ago, she might have thought that Zhang Xuan was simply bragging. However, from the instant he pointed out the reason behind her injury, expectations started to well up in her. The reason why I had you to come into this room individually is to treat you. All right, relax your entire body. Zhang Xuan retrieved a medium-sized jade box from the room and opened it gently. Within it lied numerous silver needles of different lengths. During the training sessions of a martial artist, it was easy for one to incur injuries. Thus, the academy prepared a kit of such in every single classroom to help boost the blood circulation of the wounded, as well as to temporarily ease the injury. Yes. Wang Ying listened to the voice of the young man, which was steadfast, confident but without a trace of arrogant, and replied. Somehow, Wang Ying trusted the man before her from the depths of her heart, and her tense body relaxed. Su. Sitting on his original spot without moving, he grabbed a silver needle and flicked it over. A soft sound, and the silver needle he infused with Genkai shot tautly towards Wang Ying and pierced her leg. This is Zephyr Acupuncture? Wang Ying widened her eyes as her slim body trembled yet again. Zephyr Acupuncture. It was a method which made use of a martial artist's control over his strength to control the pathway of the silver needles to pierce the correct spots without coming into contact with the patient's body. In this way, a male physician would be able to apply acupuncture without coming into proximity to a female patient. This way, awkwardness between the two was able to be avoided. Such a method of practicing acupuncture might seem simple, but it was actually incredibly complicated. Firstly, it required the martial artist to hold absolute control over his strength. If there was a slight imprecision, there was a high possibility that it would result in failure. Furthermore, one's eyes must be sharp. It was difficult to recognize the exact acupoints beneath the patient's clothes. If the physician were to recognize the acupuncture inaccurately, all kind of troubles could happen. Master Yuanyu had once said that one must at least attain the cultivation level of Fighter 5 Dan Dingli realm to practice Zephyr Acupuncture. Had the teacher termed as trash in the academy reached such a level? Impossible. Those who have reached Dingli realm were all famous figures in the academy, such as the famous teacher Lu Xun. According to Lu Lishi, Zhang Xuan was only a Fighter 3 Dan Genkai realm. There was still a huge way to go before he reached 5 Dan Dingli realm. A Fighter 3 Dan Genkai realm was capable of executing Zephyr Acupuncture? She found it unbelievable. Su. While she was still in a state of disbelief, the young man flicked a few more silver needles towards her. A few gusts of wind whipped up and the silver needles pierced into her leg with the exact same depth. This showed that the other party had already reached a rather advanced level of his control over his strength. The silver needle pierced into the flesh of her leg. Just as Wang Ying was about to ask Zhang Xuan how he intended to treat her, his hand slid past the needle and the genkai that was contained in the needle activated and probed into her body. Ah! As the genkai entered her body, she felt a tingling sensation in her leg. The acupointment which was sealed previously immediately opened under the surge of the genkai. This is superior genkai? As the tingling sensation spread across her entire body, Wang Ying clearly saw the look of the genkai in her body. Clear like water, deprived of any impurities. This is the quality that only superior genkai would possess. Superior genkai? That is something that can only be cultivated if one possesses a god or saint cultivation technique. In the entire Tianqian kingdom, it is unheard of for anyone to cultivate superior genkai. Yet, to think the lousiest teacher in the academy possessed it? It can't be that I am seeing things. Done. While she was still overwhelmed by shock, her body relaxed completely and slumped. By then, the silver needles had already been retrieved by the other party. Following which, Wang Ying felt a surge of relaxation in her leg, a comfortable sensation which she had never experienced. After her injury, although she was still able to move normally, her legs felt as though they had been plastered, plagued with a stiff sensation at all times. At this moment, wave after wave of pleasant sensation surged through her leg, as though it had broken through some shackles. Her leg felt incomparably nimble and lively. My leg. She might be slow-witted, but it was clear to see that the injury on her leg had been cured. Teacher, thank. Wang Ying's knees slackened and she kneeled onto the floor. Her eyes were entirely red. For this day, she had waited for a very long time. In fact, she even felt despair at her situation. Never in her dreams would she imagine that such a stubborn illness would be cured by the academy's worst teacher. It seems that the fact is that he is a very capable person, just that he maintains a low profile. Such a thought popped into her head. If he wasn't intentionally maintaining a low profile, regardless of how his lessons were like, just the fact that he was able to cure her legs means that he was more than capable of building up his reputation in this academy. How else was it possible for him to be the last in the teacher qualification examination? With such a thought in mind, Wang Ying kneeled to the floor and acknowledged Zhang Xuan as her teacher from the depths of her heart. All thoughts of withdrawing from his tutelage were dispelled. Now that your leg injury has recovered, go out and train properly. If you have any other problems, come over and find me afterward. Zhang Xuan gestured and entrusted her with a task. By the way, call Lu Yang over. Yes. Wang Ying replied excitedly before walking out of the room. I intend to withdraw from his lessons later. Are any of you all with me? In the classroom, after Lu Yang, Zhen Yang, Zhao Ya and Yuan Tao had introduced themselves to one another, Lu Yang said. To tell the truth, he felt extremely dispirited. Scoring within the top 100, there were many top teachers who were vying for him. Yet, in the end, due to the bet made between two teachers, he was lost to the worst teacher in the entire academy. The intense feeling of being wronged made him go into a frenzy. No matter what, I have to withdraw from his lessons today. Even if it means that I have to withdraw from the school. No one will be able to halt my footsteps. I also want to withdraw from his lessons. But if Zhang Qianlishi were to be angered, it is hard to tell what he might do. Fatty Yuan Tao couldn't resist saying. Angry. So what if he is angry? What can he do? I don't want to go berserk from his misguidance. Lu Yang scoffed. Berserk. Zhen Yang looked over doubtfully. He only knew that the teacher before him scored badly for the teacher qualification examination, being the last of the lot. He had never heard of the incident of a student going berserk from his guidance. Lu Yang continued, if you don't believe it, just wait and see. When Wang Ying walks out later, her face will surely be awful. She will feel like she has been scammed. I have already long heard of Zhang Qianlishi's teaching standards. If he was able to offer proper pointers, he wouldn't have landed in such a state, being viewed in contempt by the other teachers. GIAA. Just as they were speaking, the door opened and Wang Ying walked out with an excited look. Lu Yang was taken aback. Initially, he thought that she would be depressed, yet contrary to his expectations, she was smiling happily. The other few students were also puzzled. That joy came from the depths of her heart. She must have reaped some great rewards for such an expression to appear. Could it be that the teacher with such a horrible reputation could give proper pointers? To get a student to be so excited in just a single session, as though she had attained some precious treasure, probably even the famous Lu Sunlashi wasn't capable of such a feat. Lu Yang, teacher called for you to enter. Oblivious to what the others were thinking, Wang Ying informed him before going to one corner to start training. Me. Lu Yang clenched his jaw. I would like to see what pointers you are able to offer me. If you can't offer me any good pointers, I will withdraw from your lessons. Muttering silently in his heart, he walked into the room.